Hello, this training will cover the prompt payment policy. If you are a subcontractor, how to submit invoices for the prime contractors. And if you're a prime contractor on a contract, how to add payments in the system that you have paid to the subcontractors. And how a subcontractor can acknowledge receipt of the payments. The prerequisite of this training is to go to Baltimore County MBE and WBE compliance portal using the URL baltimorecounty.prismcompliance.com. Before I proceed for this training, I want to make sure that first, as a prerequisite of this training, you have completed this training on the portal by accessing the Need Training Let's Go button. This training video covers how to register as a vendor for Baltimore County MBE and WBE compliance portal. And after you register as a vendor, how can you add your user ID and password in order to log into the system? After you go over that video tutorial, then you can use your user ID and password that you have created to log into the system using these fields. Once you have your user ID and password and you log into the system, that I'm going to share with you the screen that you will see after you log in. So when you log into the system, you will see several different options on the left of the screen. Now, right now, I'm logged in as a subcontractor so that I can show you how to add invoices on your contracts. So first of all, you will go to the compliance section. And here you will see this grid with all of the contracts on which you are either a prime or a subcontractor. So you will see the name of the contract number, name of the specialist, contract specialist, your position on the contract. If you're a subcontractor, you will see sub here. If you're a prime contractor, you will see prime here. Your role on the contract, any invoices that the dollar amount of the invoices that you have previously submitted, the payments that you have received, the payment received by the prime from the jurisdiction, and the percentage complete for the contract. In order to add invoices, you will, for this particular contract, you will click on the small hamburger menu under the action column. And then you will select the option Invoices. As a subcontractor, you can add invoices that after you add the invoice, these invoices will be visible to the prime contractor under their login. If you have already added any invoices, you will see those invoices in this grid. So you will see the name of the payer, payee, invoice number, amount, invoice date, due date, any document that you have uploaded, amount paid against this invoice, and amount received, the acknowledged amount against this invoice, and the status. In order to add an invoice, you can choose this option. So when you click on this, you will fill up the invoice information on this pop-up window. So you will enter the invoice amount, invoice number, invoice date, any due date, and you have the option to add any comments and click on Add Invoice. Once you add the invoice, you will see your invoice in this grid. So you can always come back to this screen and look at your invoices. Now, after you add the invoice, Prime has the option to pay against this invoice. So I'm going to log in as a Prime contractor now. Prime contractor will also see the same screen and the same options. If you're a prime contractor on a contract, you will go to compliance. And in the same way, you will see the your contract here in this grid. You have the option to add or remove columns from your grid layout using the column options. You can select or uncheck these checkboxes and then save grid layout. That will save your grid layout every time you come back to this screen. For your contract where you are a prime, you can add payments. You can also see quickly see all of the invoices by clicking on See All, and this will take you to the screen where all the invoices added by the subcontractor on this particular contract are visible. Going back to the same screen, you can also see the amount of payments made to the subcontractor, amount of payments received by you as a prime from the jurisdiction, and the percentage complete. In order to add payments that you have paid to the subcontractor, in order to report those payments, you will click on small hamburger menu for your selected contract and then click on payments to subs. On this screen, you will see all of the payments that you have added or reported that you have paid to the subcontractor. If you are coming to the screen first time, you will not see anything here. So in order to add payment, you will click on Add Payment option. On this screen, you are required to report payments every month based on the prompt payment policy reporting requirements. If there is no payment made to the subcontractor on this contract, then you can click on No Reporting Activity this month. When you check this box, sorry. Oh, so there is already a payment added. That's why it's not allowing me. But if you have no reporting activity, you can check this box and simply enter today's date in the date section that will appear after checking this box and save your activity. If you do have payments to report for this month, you will scroll down without selecting the no reporting activity checkbox. Here on this screen, you will select the name of the subcontractor, and then in the invoice number column, when you select, you will see all of the invoices added by the subcontractor in the system. So let's say you select this invoice. Now, the sub invoice amount that sub has added on this invoice will automatically populate here. You just have to enter the amount that you have paid against this invoice. So let's say you have paid 10,000. A reference number uniquely identifies this payment and it is auto-generated. So you don't have to change this, but you have to select what date you have to select the date when you send this payment to the subcontractor. So let's say today's is 8th, but you sent this payment to the subcontractor on 1st. So you will enter 1st here when you actually sent this payment to the subcontractor. If you have any comments, you can enter those here. And then in the prompt payment policy section, you will select the relevant payment that you have received from the jurisdiction using this drop down to apply to this payment that you have made to the subcontractor. So let's say you select this payment and you say that you're paying the subcontractor out of the payment that you have received from jurisdiction on August 18. So you will apply this payment, and then if this is a retainage payment, then you will check this box. If this is a final payment, then you will check this box. If this is not a retainage or final payment, then you can keep these checkboxes blank or unchecked and click on Add Payment. So when you add payment, the payment will be saved in the system. then you can close this pop-up window, and then you will see this new payment is added to your payments grid. Another cool feature here for you to look at is the acknowledgement column. So for all of your payments that you have added in the system, the subcontractors are required to acknowledge those payments. If you see NR here, that means no response, and subcontractor has not yet responded or acknowledged this payment. If you see a yes, that means subcontractor has received the payment and acknowledged it in the system. If you see a dispute here, that means subcontractor has received some payment or partial payment, but they have disputed the payment because either they have not received the full amount or they have received the payment on a different date. Sometimes subcontractors can also decline the payments if they have not received any payment from your side. So you will see the status accordingly here in the acknowledgement column. You also have the option to upload any proof of payment using the reference column. So you can click on the reference button and then upload the proof of payment, give it a name, description, what this uploaded document is about, choose a file. Let's say you want to um, upload a copy, a scan check or something like that. So that proof of payment you can upload here and add reference. This will be visible to the contract specialist when they open up this payment as well. Once the prime contractor adds a payment here in the system, then subcontractor can log in and acknowledge receipt of the payment. So I will log in as a subcontractor again. And then again, as a subcontractor, in order to acknowledge receipt of the payment, you can go to compliance, look at your contract, click on small hamburger menu for this contract, and this time, instead of going to invoices, you will go to payments to subs. Now, since I'm logged in as a subcontractor, my screen looks a little different. I see all of the payments here that are made to the subcontractor. And then in the acknowledgement column, as a subcontractor, you will see the option to acknowledge the payment. That is this confirm link. If you have already acknowledged the payment, you will see the status and you will not see confirm link. But if you have a no response on a payment, you will see this link. So you will click on this link. And then on this page, you will see the name of the contract and all other information. In the payment information, you will see what Prime has entered as part of this payment. So the invoice amount, the invoice number, payment date to the sub. So Prime has entered in the system that they have paid to you as a subcontractor. They have paid on September 1, 2022. And the amount they have paid is $10,000. Now, as a subcontractor, you have the option to enter the amount received, the payment received date, and any comments. If you have received the full amount, you will enter the full amount here. And if you have received it on this date, you will enter that date here. And then you will scroll down, click on Acknowledge Payment, and accept the payment using the Accept button. Just in case you have not received the full amount or you have not received the payment on this date, you can enter a different amount here or a different date here, add some comments just to provide a description, and then acknowledge payment and click on dispute payment. This way, the prime contractor will see that there is a dispute on this payment, and then they can resolve the dispute. If you have not received any of this payment that Prime has added, you can enter 0 here, and in the date, you can enter the date, today's date, and then click on Decline Payment. For all of these three options, you have to click on Acknowledge Payment checkbox. After you acknowledge receipt of the payment, Prime Contractor will see the status of the acknowledgement of the payment. And that completes the adding a payment, adding an invoice, and acknowledging a payment training.